Hi, boys and girls. Nice to see you. It was nice to see your frog life cycle drawings this morning. And today it's time for the BFG. But I promised you that we would have one mystery reader each week, and today is our mystery reader day. So it's time for mystery reader. Who do you think it is today? Last week I surprised you with somebody who lives in Tennessee. Let's see who it is today. Here we go. This person is super hairy, like a giant. This person actually came up with their own clues. This person's here. Can you think of somebody that you might have met or seen before that's super hairy like a giant? Let's read number 2. Ready? This person plays guitar. Can you think of someone that you might know or might have heard of that plays guitar? Number 3, this person is a father. Ooh. Who do you think it might be? Some of you might have guessed already. It is Owen and Zoe's dad. This is Chris. Yay! Let's welcome our mystery reader, Chris.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you today. I hope you're all doing really good and quarantining at home and being good kids. So I'm going to read you, we're starting on page 187 of the BFG. And so here we go. Even at a distance, they were enough to scare the daylights out of the soldiers. When they got close and saw what the giants really looked like, they began to sweat with fear. 9 fearsome, ugly, half-naked, 50 feet long brutes lay sprawled over the ground in various grotesque attitudes of sleep. And the sound of their snoring was indeed like gunfire in a battle. The BFG raised a hand, and all the jeep stopped. The soldiers got out. "What happens if one of them wakes up?" whispered the head of the army, his knees knocking together with fear. Here's the picture. "If any of them is waking up, he will gobble you down before you can say Jack Jife." The BFG answered, grinning hugely. "Me is the only one that won't be gobbled up because giants is never eating giants. Me and Sophie is the only safe ones because I is hiding her if that happens." The head of the army took several paces to the rear. So did the head of the Air Force. They climbed rather quickly back into their jeep, ready to make a fast getaway if necessary. "Go forward, men," the head of the army said. "Go forward and do your duty bravely." The soldiers crept forward with their ropes and chains. All of them were trembling mightily. None dared speak a word. The BFG, with Sophie now sitting on the palm of his hand, stood near by watching the operation. To give the soldiers their due, they were extremely courageous. There were 6 well-trained, efficient men working on each giant within 10 minutes. 8 out of the 9 giants had been trussed up like chickens and were snoring contentedly. The 9th, who happened to be Flesh Lump Eater, was causing trouble for the soldiers because he was lying with his right arm tucked underneath his enormous body. It was impossible to tie his wrists and arms together without first getting that arm out from underneath him. Very, very cautiously, the 6 soldiers who were working on Flesh Lump Eater began to pull at the huge arm, trying to release it. The Flesh Lump Eater opened his tiny, piggy black eyes. "Which of you foul pesters is wiggling my arm?" he bellowed. "Is that you, you rotsome man-hugger?" Suddenly, he saw the soldiers. In a flash, he was sitting up. He looked around him. He saw more soldiers. With a roar, he leapt to his feet. The soldiers, petrified with fear, froze where they were. They had no weapons with them. The head of the army put his jeep into reverse. "Human beings!" the Flesh Lump Eater yelled. What is all you flush-bunking, rotsome, half-baked beans doing in our country? He made a grab at a soldier and swept him up in his hand. I is having early suppers today, he shouted, holding the poor squirming soldier at arm's length and roaring with laughter. Sophie, standing on the palm of BFG's hand, was watching, horror-struck. Do something, she cried. There's the picture there. Quick, before you eat him! Put that human being down, the BFG shouted. The flesh lump eater turned and stared at the BFG. What is you doing here with all these grotty gwiblets? Oh, triglets, he bellowed. You is making me very suspichy. The BFG made a rush at Flesh Lump Eater, but the colossal 54-foot-high giant simply knocked him over with a flick of his arm. At the same time, Sophie fell off BFG's palm onto the ground. Her mind was racing. She must do something. She must. She must. She remembered the sapphire brooch that the queen had pinned on her chest. Quickly, she undid it. I is guzzling you nice and slow, the flesh lump eater was saying to the soldier in his hand. Then I is guzzling 10 or 20 more of you midgy little maggots down there. You is not getting away from me because I is galloping 50 times faster than you. Sophie ran up behind the flesh lump eater. She was holding the brooch between her fingers. When she was right up close to the great naked hairy legs, she rammed the 3-inch long pin of the brooch as hard as she could into the flesh lump eater's right ankle. It went into the flesh and stayed there. It went deep. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was nice to meet you all, and I'll see ya. Thanks.